Welcome to Screen Junkies News. It's the weekend. We're hanging out, having some tea, talking about cinematic sensuality. Ooh. 50 Shades freed. We are free of 50 Shades.
Oh, yay.
We did Opens this weekend, and with that in mind, we thought we'd offer you some alternative films to watch that may be just a little bit more, Joe, what's the word I'm looking for? Hot?
Especially in that accent. That's just real friggin' hot. Oh, boy.
Just a couple of hat people just banging on camera.
We have an amazing panel, and Mr. Joe Starr, Sasha Perl-Raver is here.
Oh, yeah, and when we started this panel, I wasn't even pregnant. Then we started talking about it, and just like, bam!
Woo! That's how hot these movies are. Spencer Gilbert.
Glad to be here. By the end of this video, you, the viewer, will be pregnant. Where's my camera? There you are.
Yeah. This is a Tracy Morgan promise.
I will find you and I will impregnate you. That's the new take on Joe Starr. What's yours?
By the end of this video, I will have a leather jacket and a motorcycle, and I'll be like, we can't keep doing this. And then I'll ride off into the sunset.
And I'll just one lonely tear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
You can look forward to that if you watch all the way through. We're going to start off with Mr. Joe Starr. What's your first movie?
We're going textbook sexy movie, 1992's Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
You got to show love to Basic Instinct. It launched Sharon Stone. It made her a superstar. It also launched... revitalized the genre of sexy thriller. Like, entire cable channels were made after this movie. This was a huge deal. Paul Verhoeven and what's his name? The screenwriter, Spencer?
Oh, Joe Esterhaus?
Yeah, Joe Esterhaus. Just a powerhouse team. Just letting Sharon Stone do her thing and somehow making Michael Douglas also maybe a little...
Careful,
like trying, doing their best.
Yeah.
Doing
If I
their
recall
best.
correctly, though, I saw a little Wayne Knight in there.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing
And,
sexier.
you know,
Nothing
nothing
sexier than
Noodle.
that.
Little stick stupid. Oh man, yeah, no, nothing sexier than a little bit of Wayne Knight.
Can I tell you what's even sexier than Wayne Knight is
Yeah.
the way that I saw this movie for the first time. I was going to camp and I was feeling like really vulnerable and sad. My parents were like, well, let's go rent a movie and we'll like watch it. And I ended up in my parents' bed, my dad here, my mom here, watching Basic Instinct on the VCR. I was like 11, and I just remember my mom
That'll
consistently
screw you
being
up
like, cover your eyes.
Wink. Final thoughts on the basics?
The weird thing about this movie is that tonally, pace-wise, performance-wise, it's very, very sexy. The sex scenes, look, you've seen Showgirls. Paul Verhoeven may have never seen sex happen before. Like, 'cause the sex scenes still don't quite work. They're still like maybe an 11-year-old boy's idea of what sex is, where Sharon Stone's like, gonna spend 30 seconds in your southern region. And you're like, okay, noted, that's a thing. I'm going to ride you for 2 minutes and then we're done. So, weirdly, this movie, despite it's not sexy sex scenes, still a sexy movie.
I now all I'm thinking about is the dolphin sex in Showgirls. Just the
it's so
Did you watch that with your
big.
parents?
I don't think so, but we can. There's still time. There's always Mother's Day's coming up.
Yep, and now the new generation.
Oh, yeah.
Gets to watch
Hey,
Basic
here
Instinct
you
with you.
go.
This is how I
With
learned
that
how
in
you
mind,
get the train.
I
Yeah.
think that we should all have a disturbing movie we watched with our parents. Quick story by the end of this video.
Yeah.
And you tell us what you're going to show baby.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you, if we're talking sexy, I'm sorry. I got to go the Nizzle. The Notebook. Come on, you need that Ryan Gosling. You want that Ryan Gosling pulling the boat up and it's raining and there's just been around ducks and they're so look at that screaming and emotional and then he walks over to her and he's like, it wasn't over for me. It still isn't over. And then they're up against the wall and it's bang time.
And one foot.
I'm sorry, that's hot. That one stocking off, I'll take that over 4 hours of 50 Shades any damn day. This is the movie that made Ryan Gosling the Goss.
Yes.
This is the reason that we have what we have. And I mean, I am not a Nicholas Sparks fan, but The Notebook.
I'm a bird. You're a bird! Come on! You guys
So,
don't know
it's sex and it's
Spencer?
romance.
Then correct us.
I'm not going to correct you because, you know, we all have our own things going on. And look, who am I to say that you can't get off to Ryan Gosling? What I will say is you don't have a pulse if you don't find something to enjoy about peak Clunes and peak Jalot. I'm talking about Out of Sight, 1998. This is like when Jenny from the Block was just like, she was just coming up. George Clooney was the guy from ER. And they're in this like slick, sexy Steven Soderbergh crime thriller about like a bank robber and the federal marshal on the case. And damn, they're just two really good looking people. And the dialogue is so smooth and there's such like a slow build of tension till it finally erupts either in a bathtub or in a hotel room or any damn place.
Or
these
the
two
trunk
connect.
of a car.
I mean, that's peak
Oh my
Clooney right
God,
here. These are two
yes.
of the best looking people on earth and at that moment in time.
I love
and
that movie so
I mean, they
much.
still are. That's
they still
the weird
are, but I
thing,
think
yeah.
that was like the crest of both of them. Jennifer Lopez, as far as I'm concerned, invented the butt that we're still talking about
Yes.
today. And George Clooney is like he's chiseled out of granite. There's just two really good-looking people, and the movie is a very sexy movie in the sense where 50 Shades is about forbidden love in the sense that like, oh, you violated Section 9 of the contract. This is forbidden love about like two people who have like massively poor consequences of them getting together, but they just can't resist.
And it takes like an hour and 20 minutes for them to
Yeah.
have it. And as soon as they do have it, Jennifer Lopez has that great scene in the bathroom that's sort of like an unfaithful moment where she's like, oh my God, what did I do? But damn, it felt good to do it. Oh yeah. Out of Sight is fantastic. That scene is one of the best.
And it's also Soderbergh kind of at the height of his powers.
oh, it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So my
good, solid.
movie is, I think, one of the most classy. It's really not.
It's Showgirls.
It's not. It's so fun though, and it is one of these quintessential like sex movies that's just about sex and it's unashamed of it. It is 9.5
Yes.
weeks. It is
Okay.
from 1986. It is Mickey Rourke when he looked like a human, and Miss
Yeah.
Kim Basinger, who still weirdly looks the same.
Yeah.
And they use her in 50 Shades, like I think calling back to 9.5 weeks. This is a relationship. Also, his name in the movie, John Gray. This is a movie about a very short-term affair. It lasts for, like the movie says, titularly 9.5 weeks. And it's just hot. It is just like couple months of banging.
Yeah.
And he will just call her. And it also has a little bit of a BDSM vibe to it. So it's very much if you wanted to see the sexy version of 50 Shades of Grey, even if you wanted a thing that's like, okay, maybe it's not the best story in the world, but it's two really sexy actors doing the things.
Yeah.
This is your movie. It's nine
All
and a
the
half
things are in
weeks.
it.
And it doesn't go to a crazy place because he is very sort of domineering and commanding, and he'll call her up and be like, take off your underpants, I'm coming over, or like, pleasure yourself, or whatever it is he says. There's a food scene that redefines
it's so good.
the idea
It's so
of
good.
food porn.
Totally. It's all the sex with none of the weird no names get the butter
Yeah.
of Last Tango in Paris.
Oh,
Without
God.
any of like the behind the scenes
Yes.
funky
Oh, the butter.
machinations.
It's not
Yeah.
the best movie in the world, but it's seriously really fun. Like, she's doing a striptease,
It's so
like
good.
where she magically ends up on a roof. How did she get there? Don't care.
don't
It's the
Doesn't matter.
80s.
It's the 80s.
Yeah.
She had a hat.
Yeah.
And she has this amazing, like, mood lighting in her house for no good reason. Don't care. It's a good movie.
Love it. I
It's
love
just
it.
tough because now Mickey Rourke has Kim Basinger's face, so I feel like they did some sort of long-term face-off situation. But you're right. Back then, like you said, he looks like a human.
That
so
is my
it's all
one
good.
problem with it is I have a really hard time disconnecting the
Who
man
Mickey
now
Rourke is, yeah.
versus then. But
That's
back then he's
fair.
hot.
No, it's true. I mean, and it's fair having trouble to make that disconnect. I just think this is the movie that 50 Shades wanted to be, and instead it's really boring. Joe?
Look, 9.5 weeks is really a great one if you just like want to watch some just sex. But sometimes I also just like want to be
be in those
cuddled.
feelings.
I want to feel safe and secure and like I'm protected.
Yeah.
So I added Creed to this list. Look, Tessa Thompson is so hot in this movie. So is Michael B. Jordan. Their chemistry's really hot. Even this weird booth-like date where they talk about dead parents is like weirdly sexy just because of the actors. And look, Michael B. Jordan's hot as shit in this movie.
Oh, God.
My wife and I sat and watched Creed, and I was like, I discovered an asterisk. Okay, Michael B. Jordan. Okay, my sexuality spectrum has increased a little bit.
Nice.
Michael B. Jordan running down a street followed by ATVs is on my spectrum.
I love that moment.
The sexy parts of Creed, though, are like 4% of Creed. Unless,
Yeah.
I guess, if you're just watching him work out.
Look, man,
sure.
it's not about quantity.
Okay.
It's about
It's
about quality of
Quality.
just sweaty Michael B. Jordan and
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson just
Yeah.
being hot for 4 minutes of Creed. Yes,
Yeah.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fast forward to the good parts.
Sasha.
Oh, always.
So we've
I mean,
had,
that's all these movies.
had romance, we've had some just pure sex. What do you got that combines them all?
What I've got is You talk about fast forwarding to the good parts. We had to wait for a sequel to get the really good parts.
Ooh.
Magic Mike XXL.
Okay.
I am sorry. If you have a vagina and this, or a penis that likes dudes, and this final dance scene didn't make you scream, oh, come on, Channing Tatum. That's right, take the pants off. It's a whole thing. I'm telling you, this last dance scene, I saw this movie, I think 3 times in the theater.
Wow.
The first time, it was all girls, and every single girl in the theater was screaming and hollering because this is the stripper that you're never actually going to see. That in real life, don't do that, gentlemen. That's actually very disrespectful. Channing Tatum is the only person who can do that, and he's the only person who can do that, especially when that song that he's stripping to is R. Kelly's Cookie, which is also a very disrespectful song. I mean,
But in this one weird
in
fantasy
this
world,
one moment,
nothing is problematic.
It's okay. It's better than getting hit or having a butt plug or any of that spanking stuff in 50 Shades. But you got build up, we have had anticipation, and when we finally get that dance scene that we just sit through boring first Magic Mike for, come on! That's right, make it rain! And let me tell you, who doesn't want to get picked up and carried around by Channing Tatum? There's like this magical world where Jada Pinkett Smith has created like the ultimate strip club for
a weird
women.
stripper Bordeaux? Yeah. He made me Lando Calrissian.
All right,
You know what I'm saying?
we got to move on to Mr. Spencer, but I will say one thing in defense of Magic Mike, the first one. That is the 2-lane blacktop of male stripper movies, and I respect the shit out of Soderbergh for it. I actually really like that movie.
Yeah, that
However,
convenience store scene is one of the funnier comedy scenes, which I imagine could also be sexy in cinema that year. That was so hilarious when they're all on ecstasy and he's stripping and he.
That's 2 though. That comes from 2.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
You gotta get my Magic Mike continuity straight.
Yeah.
Stripper con.
That is
Come
so.
on.
That scene is so good though.
It's really good.
funny and it's hot. God, it's everything.
So 50 Shades of Grey, it makes a big point of like, oh, this is like illicit. This is naughty. This stuff is kind of taboo. And in that respect, I would direct you towards a movie that I picked out in the movies you may not have seen, The Handmaiden by Park Chan-wook, who made Old Boy and Sympathy for Lady Vengeance and all that stuff. And I don't want to say too much about it because there's so many twists in this, but suffice to say, it centers around a underground kind of bondage, erotic service that's offered to Korean people in the basement of this house. There's a tentacle monster that may or may not be involved. There's people being tied up, and then there's like some very counter to that. There's like an actual love story between 2 women that gets so graphic that you're like, oh wow, they're just gonna do every position. This is still going.
It makes blue as the warmest color.
Yeah.
Look like PG.
It's, this was gonna be on my list too, Spencer. And just every shot of this movie is also just
beautiful.
One that you could like screenshot, put on your wall as a painting. Like it's a beautiful movie, and it also sort of continues a weird theme that we're finding, I guess, on this couch. That are they going to kill each other? Makes for a very sexy scene.
I like the through line there. I will throw into that Pritzi's Honor, which is not on my list, but since you brought that up, it's a really sexy movie that is the actual question because they must kill each other. One must die, one must live.
Like Voldemort and
Sex
Harry.
Must,
So sexy.
Like my fanfic of Voldemort and Harry.
Spencer's picking like actually really great films. I offered up 9.5 Weeks, which I think is the fun film to watch. That's like maybe not the best movie in the world, but I'm going to offer up one that I think is a great movie, which is called In the Mood for Love. This is from 2000. This is Wong Kar-wai. This is a movie that is incredibly sensual, truly sensual, because there's really no sex. It's about desire and the forbidden, and what is forbidden, not just in terms of people are married. These are 2 spouses that find out their respective spouses are having an affair. Does that make sense? And they develop a relationship. But this is really like the Age of Innocence did this a little bit because it was about what you couldn't have but you wanted. This does this so beautifully. And talk about every single frame in this movie. The colors are so rich. This is a movie that you want to watch if you want to feel romantic. It'll get you in the mood
For love.
More love.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm in.
Joe.
Good pick. Oh, we've done all mine. Handmaid was going to be the third on my list.
Sasha.
Interestingly, Out of Sight was going to be the third on my list, but I do have another suggestion. Because the thing about 50 Shades is it's supposed to be sexy and naughty and all these things, and it's none of that. It's not sensual, it's not sexual, it's not erotic, it's not hot. But I found a video that I think is. JTE, can you roll this clip for me?
Oh.
Oh, God, that's so hot. Oh,
wow.
come on. You can find this on the internet, and it's just Krispy Kremes being glazed
Nice.
slowly.
Wow.
Glaze
Hot
that shit.
Glaze. They pour in the dough.
Ooh.
They churn it around.
Is there yeast in there?
It's rising, you guys. It's getting hot in there. Oh, look at that. Just
Ooh,
creamy,
okay. Yeah.
creamy,
Yeah.
dazzling glaze.
That's the Channing Tatum of breakfast right there.
Honestly, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As Colin Farrell once said, I could eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I
I see what
totally
you did
did. Thank you. I think you, speaking of things that are not hot, that are involve sex. That video is so much hotter than anything that has ever happened between Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan in those movies.
Yeah.
I could watch that glaze scene over and over, and it's not just because.
Sasha Perl-Raver, the hot light is on.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, the hot light, the hot and ready light.
That makes me hot for donuts.
Spencer.
Oh, I have to follow that? I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
how can you get hotter than warm donuts?
God.
I guess, look, I took the challenge literally to name movies that were hotter than 50 Shades of Grey, and I feel like this is, you know, the Price is Right part where I bid $1 because I could name any movie. So let's just throw up Interstellar. Christopher
Sure.
Nolan's Interstellar.
Fair.
Yeah.
This is a hard science movie
Ooh, that
about the
handle.
world's out of okra, and they have to go into a black hole, so there's some penetration, and they travel to the future to meet their own daughter. So, you know, anything is sexier technically than
Yeah.
the 50 Shades trilogies.
Okay.
I like it.
I didn't get the footnote about being amusing, so my
No, and it's on a hot
It
note.
really leads a lot to, like, I mean, you let that movie run for 30 more seconds, like, him and Anne Hathaway just pull off the spacesuits, right?
yeah,
And
they
just-
just go
100%.
at it.
Totally.
Yeah.
that's
Shame
the-
about your dead
that's
love.
that's,
over
you
there.
didn't stay through the credits.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
the bump?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the,
man.
Yeah, and then that HAL 9000 thing is like, can I join? Set eroticism to 90%.
Well, this is going to be a letdown, but it shouldn't be because these are two, and I'm going to combine them because they're both riffing on Double Indemnity and they're neo-noir, and they brought noir back, each in their own little way. Body Heat.
Ooh.
Nice.
This is the movie that made Kathleen Turner. Body Heat takes place during a hot, sweltering heat wave in Florida. This is about betrayal and sex and adultery
And wind chimes.
and
Wind
wind
chimes,
chimes
sweat,
and just
Florida.
straight up effing and the desire for all, and how he thinks he's in control the entire time, but he is being led on her string of sensuality. Look at Kathleen Turner. My
Stunner.
God, this is
Stunner.
directed by Lawrence Kasdan.
Nice.
Guys,
I forgot about that. That's
yeah,
that's really weird.
It's directed by Lawrence Kasdan. This is a movie that, again, is like just riffing on all of your iconic film noirs, and it's great. But another one that did that is Bound in 1996.
I almost threw that on my list.
Yeah, this is the Wachowski
The Wachowskis.
siblings.
So these are the kind of movies I want them to make again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love it too. So this is a crime thriller, neo-noir about betrayal and an affair between two women. And Jennifer Tilly plays a woman that's trying to get away from her abusive mobster boyfriend, and she's trying
love
to
that show.
get an ex-con played by Gina Gershon to help her get some money out of him, as you do in a neo-noir movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just really sexy. And they actually got like a sex choreographer for the movie, which
How
Great
is that
job
a
if you can
job?
get it.
like
Yeah. Really solid job.
it pays off, I would say, in the scenes. I mean, these are some of the I had to find clips for our producer, and I couldn't pull any of the clips that exist from the sex
Because
scenes
that choreographer did such a
because
good
they're
job.
all age gated. So I was like, well, I guess we
Wow.
just got to use the trailer because that's how hot it is.
Yeah.
Damn,
Look,
that's
a
good.
very good friend of mine, Jackie Cation, has a great joke about how there were no jobs in LA until we invented them. Dog walker, out of work, background actor, yoga instructor, sex choreographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not technically called. She was like a sex educator, But sex choreographer?
Sex choreographer.
She was on set going like, thrust 2, 3, thrust 2, 3, turn 2, 3.
That's crazy because that's what happened on Magic Mike XXL too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Is this peak Gina Gershon?
Nah, that's
say.
Showgirls.
That's Showgirls.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, darling.
But it's amazing
might be
to know
peak
that
Jennifer
her
Tilly.
oeuvre, her peak sexual
Or is that
oeuvre-
Bride of Chucky?
Yes.
Hard to say. All really good choices. Bride of Chucky, also a surprisingly sexy film, if we're honest.
comparatively? I mean, The
And
Muppets
I
Take
will
Manhattan is sexy compared to 50 Shades Freed.
If we're being honest. God, it's been good talking with you guys. I think we have a lot of important movies and commercials to go home and watch.
I'll go be in my bunk.
Yeah, go be in your bunk.
Yeah.
Joe's going to snuggle up with his blankie because he's in his feelings after this, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just afterwards I get really emotional and I just kind of cry and think about things I'm thankful for and happy about.
I'm going to go eat a donut.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch The Notebook.
I see you.
Oh, she got Gosling.
I did get Gosling.
Yes, you did.
Oh, man. Spencer Gilbert,
Yeah, donuts. Let's do it.
let's do the donuts. You guys go enjoy your donuts today. And let us know in the comments below if there are sexy movies that you would enjoy seeing. Or if you happen to enjoy 50 Shades. Good for you.
Let us know.
Oh, yeah.